Hey people, how's it going? Hope you guys are having a great day out there. My day's going okay so far. I'm honestly I have a pretty bad headache today. I think I think two things are going on. One, I have not had coffee for 2 days, which is not a good thing. And two, I spent a little too much time out in the sun yesterday, doing too much physical activity. So I think I might have overdone it. Anyway, so if I'm a little out of it today, that's why. Otherwise, feeling pretty good. Hope you guys are all doing well. Um, Here in Indiana, it's been really hot this last week. Um, really hot, really sunny, really humid, and that's just a bit more than this fat boy could handle. So I would much rather be cold than hot. I don't know about you guys, but if you're out there, say hello. Just want to remind everyone, if you haven't, to please follow the Rick Brown Live page. You can also subscribe on YouTube, and there's no reason why you can't do both. Um, it'll be it's very helpful to me if you could do that. The more people like and subscribe, the more I rise up to other people to view. So anyway, I'd like to get more people watching. I'm not looking for millions. I don't want that hat, but a few hundred would be cool. Anyway, good to see you guys. I don't really have much for today. Um, the big thing I want to talk about is I got a new toy this week, and I am super excited about it. And I'm going to see if I can bring up a picture of it here. There we go. Now ignore the mess. Hi, Dana. Ignore the mess on the little build plate there, the little pink blob. I'll explain what that is in a minute. But that is a new 3D printer. More specifically, it is an Ender 3 3D printer, which is awesome. I've wanted one for a long time, and a Facebook friend posted about a week ago, a little less than a week ago, hey, the Ender 3 is the Amazon deal today, and so I had to jump on it because the price was really good. And usually their 3D printers are several hundred to several $1,000s, and I got this for less than 200, quite a bit less than 200. So that's really good. Anyway, like I said, I've wanted one for a long time. I would like to hear if you guys have had some experiences with 3D printers, especially with my problem with the little pink glob that I talked about there, which we'll talk about in a minute. I'm going to come back up full because I'm going to show you the first demo print I did was this little dog. I'm going to move it over here. That's kind of hard to see because it's too light, but it's really cool. It's like a little puppy. It's hard to see the detail because of my lighting. But anyway, I thought it turned out really good. I did run out of filament, so the top kind of got cut off, but they just gave me a little bit of demo filament to try with, and it was just not quite enough to finish it. So, but anyway, it looks really cool. And then the second thing, this is what I failed on. This just finished printing yesterday. Took about 16 hours to print, and what it's supposed to, if I show this version or this view, it's a really cool looking bowl. And I used this pink filament, which you can see in the other picture. I actually made a really cool design, like kind of a ribbed kind of design. But what it really is, it is a bowl. I printed this for Jill, and it has these little holes and grooves. And what you're supposed to do is you put yarn in, and then you kind of thread the yarn through here. Now this part broke off when I was trying to fix it. This part right in here, but it rolls all the way around, and there's a hole in the middle. But you thread the yarn through there, and then you can pull the yarn out like a little strand at a time, and it won't get all tangled up. That's what this is supposed to be. However, the way I printed it, I printed it where it has these little supports, and I made them too thick, and the support stuck to my plate. That's what, I'm going to go back to this picture. That's what this plate is that's where it printed, and everything you see there except for right in the middle is a part of the support. So I couldn't get it off of the printing surface there, and I So I started looking at, what can I do? My print stuck to the print surface, and several sites I said just try to just kind of grab it and twist it real hard, and it should just pop right off. If not, and then there's other steps. Well, I tried step one, and apparently I wasn't supposed to grab it and twist it that much, and I just completely broke it off. And then where there was a support that's holding the front end, there was a support that held this because it kind of floats out a little bit. And when I tried to break the support off, it broke the other part off too. So I needed to figure out how to get better at that. And then you can see the bottom where it broke off because I pulled too hard. That was I was pleasantly surprised with how well it turned out, other than those things. But when it was sitting there on the print bed, it was gorgeous. I was like, oh, this is great. It turned out even better than I thought. And then unfortunately I couldn't get it off. So if you have experience with 3D printers and you can give me tips on how to do that better, and maybe how to print with less supports, even though I think it needs supports, that would be fantastic if you could let me know that. Anyway, I have some other ideas of things I want to make. There's some things that I've downloaded, like the images for to print, but I also want to start making my own. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. Anyway, that's my new toy. So that was fun. I also want to, while we're here, I want to kind of finish up a little bit what we talked about. Oh, Cassie says, I'm so confused. How do you decide what to print? Well, the little dog that I printed, it came with 3 demo things you could print. And one was a dog, and one was a pig, and one was a cat. And they were different, like resolutions, like how the quality of the print. And the dog was the best quality, and I wanted the dog anyway because I'm more of a dog person than a cat or a pig person. So that's how I chose to do the dog. And then, honestly, my wife was a little like, why do you need a 3D printer? So I thought if I printed something for her first, she might be like, oh, I see, that's really cool. And she'd be a little more accepting of me spending the money for a 3D printer. So, really, this is one of the first things I found that was like, hey, that's actually practical and pretty cool. I'm going to try to print that. And I'll probably give it a shot again here later. But some things are practical. I'll give an example. If I had this last summer, we have this little automatic sweeper that, it's really automatic vacuum. I probably shouldn't say sweeper, but it's an automatic vacuum for our swimming pool. We have a real small in-ground swimming pool, and it's got this little vacuum attachment that you attach to one of the jets, and then it's got this little tail that goes along the bottom of the pool and blows leaves and other stuff up into the air, or it sucks them up into this little basket. And one of the screws broke off on it, and there's little plastic screws. And if I had this 3D printer last year, instead of trying to find a place to order them, and the only place I could find would sell 20 of them for way more than they're worth, I could have just printed one. Either found someone else who had already designed it, or just kind of measured it myself and designed it myself. That's what I want to get into, is designing things myself. But first I want to learn how to print and make it look right first, so I'm printing other people's stuff. I downloaded a couple other ideas. I can't remember what they are now. I'm going to look real quick. There's a website called Thingiverse, and it's where people upload their own designs, and then you can download them and then print them. Just go into their website here. I'm going to see if I can share this real quick. So can I print a coronavirus cure? No, I wish. Trust me, I wish. Sorry, I should have thought of this beforehand, but I didn't. So you're going to see a lot of the weird things happen on your screen right now, probably, as I attempt to add website here. Sorry. Okay, let me load in. Well, there we go. Okay, now you guys should be able to see that. I'm going to cover my face up here for a minute, which you guys are probably okay with. So this is Thingiverse. While I'm doing this, I'm going to... Sorry, I should have thought of this beforehand, but, you know, that would have required pre-planning and actually thinking about what I was going to do this week. There, I'll move me over. There, hopefully you can see me now. Does that look okay? Maybe I need to switch back and forth just to make sure. Okay, I normally also have like a, up in another window, what's streaming out, but I didn't do that today, so I can't see what's going out. Anyway, this is Thingiverse, and so as you can see, there's a couple things there, and these are kind of goofy things. But this is popular. So there's like this little bottle opener on the right, and cap gun, so you can stick it on a bottle, and then it like shoots the, like it pulls the cap off, and then you can shoot it, which is weird. And then there's this little flying sea turtle thing. I have no idea what that is. Maybe it's from a show or something, I don't know. But that is the Thingiverse website. Now that's where I downloaded the bowl from. Now for not practical things, there's a little Baby Yoda thing I want to print, which hopefully we'll be doing soon. But I want to figure out my print before I do that. And I'm gonna look at what I've downloaded here. There is well, this is also kind of funny. There's a little door jamb that says Hodor, like from Game of Thrones. There is a light switch lock. It's a thing you print and then you put over a light switch, and it doesn't let anybody turn it without like you can't just flip a switch on and off. And the reason why I want that is because here in my studio I have a light switch right by the door, but the light switch doesn't actually control the light in the room. The light switch is basically everything that's on one wall, and most of what's on this wall is all my sound equipment, my electronic drum set, one of my speakers, my studio speakers is plugged in there, and both my monitors and my light for my studio. So last week I came in to fire up my show, and I couldn't figure out why half my stuff wasn't working, and I was like, oh, someone must have switched the light off, so I had to go switch the light back on. So I want to print that lock to prevent people from doing that. There's a little thing for I have a Google Home thing I want to print for that. Just looks kind of cool. There's a little massage roller thing to help like massage your muscles I'm going to print out. So there's several things. You know, some of them are fun things, like I said, like the Baby Yoda thing. Some of them are just practical things, like you know, the door jamb or the bowl for the yarn. There's a little battery dispenser I want to print. I buy a lot of batteries for my Xbox controller, among other things that use those same size batteries. And so there's a little battery dispenser thing that you can print, and then I buy them like by the ton on Amazon because they're super cheap that way. And right now they're just in the box they came in. It'd be cool if I could put them in that little holder and just grab them when I need them. So those are just the things that just in the last couple of days I've just searched and found. And then, like I said, there's some things, there's a couple things I don't want to say online because they're kind of surprises for people, but I'd like to print for specific people, but those are things I need to make myself. And so once I print several things and I feel like I have the printing process done, then that's what I plan on doing is doing my own stuff. So that's 3D printing in a nutshell. The next time I print something, I might do a little video and post it, both in the stream and on YouTube. You'll take a rubber duck. It's actually not rubber though, it's like a plastic. It's like a hard plastic. There are, though, some flexible materials you can buy, but I didn't buy any of that because I didn't plan on using it. But rubber duck would be cool. Wonder if I could make that now. I watched a video last night of a guy who'd made a phone case, kind of like the soft, flexible phone cases. It wasn't the exact same material, but it still worked. But it was a little bit flexible, so you could snap it onto your phone or whatever. That'd be pretty cool to make my own phone case. I have several ideas kind of in my head. And right now, when I bought it, it wasn't like, oh, I want to buy this to do this. But there have been times over the last couple of years, especially, where I'm like, man, if I had a 3D printer, I could do X. Or, I try to find something like, if I just had a 3D printer, I could just print it. And so when I saw that cheap price on it, I decided to just go ahead and jump. So that's why we have it. Anyway, so that's about enough about 3D printer, unless you guys want to talk about it more. I did want to go back to last week's topic just for a minute. We talked about I started to talk about anyway, things that things that people don't know about computers. Like what's a good like computer. What are things that people don't know about computers, or people don't know about technology that they should know? And then I got to the first thing, and it got us off on such a tangent, I never made it back around to some things. So I don't want to talk a long time about it, but I just want to bring up a couple things, just maybe it might help people. One of the things I was going to bring up is people ask me all the time, should I turn my computer off? And that question, if you asked 100 different people, you would get 100 different answers. And my take on it is, if you have a laptop, of course, there's no reason just to leave it on, because you're probably putting it away. But if it's just sitting out and it's sitting on a desk and you're using it like it's a desktop, there's no reason not to leave it on. If you have a desktop computer, just regular desktop, there's no reason not to just leave it on. It does take some power, but most computers now have really good power management. When they're not being used, they shut themselves down quite a bit, except for what's required. So there's no reason to turn your computer off. It's good to leave it on because, one, it can run updates overnight. A lot of like if you took my advice and bought the full version of Malwarebytes after last week's show, things like that can run in the background while it's not being used, and will stop it from running while you're trying to use it, I guess. When you turn on or off a computer, it sends a little shock through it. It's just kind of like starting your car. Starting your car is the worst thing you do for your car. When you start it, there's not much oil flowing. It's not quite ready to run when it starts up. So turning on and off your car is the worst thing you do for your car. Turning on and off your computer is one of the worst things you do for your computer. It just sends a little jolt. It's not bad. It's not horrible, but over time, that can build up. And you never know, it might cause a problem. Not starting and restarting it can be a pretty good thing. So that was one of the things I wanted to mention last week I didn't get to. Probably the most important one. Another one was antivirus for your phone. I don't really think those programs are necessary yet. Most people use either Android or iOS devices, of course. And on both of those platforms, things are pretty locked down. In most cases, one program can't see what another program's doing. You do have to be careful with your permissions, but that's more of like a personal data kind of thing, and not like it's going to destroy my phone thing. So there's lots of stuff going on right now about TikTok. People, TikTok is made by a Chinese company, and people have witnessed it doing some nefarious things with your data that really an app shouldn't be able to do. On Apple devices specifically, TikTok was found reading your clipboard, which is when you copy and paste something, when you copy it, it puts it into what's called a clipboard, and when you paste it pastes it from that clipboard. And TikTok was found to be reading people's clipboard, which is not a good thing, because there's zero reason for it to do that. And again, antivirus program for your phone isn't going to catch that, because it's an app that you've allowed to do, and you've given it permissions to do all these things. So just be careful with what you install. Pay attention to if you hear a news thing about a certain app, you might want to pay attention to it. But those were the big ones. I had a few other minor ones, but not a big deal. I don't want to waste your time with today. And again, I'm just going to make this a short episode because I'm pretty wiped out from yesterday. And another good news. I started off our very first episode I did with Tyson Priest, and we talked about, we have a podcast that we did together. We've actually not done it for the last couple months for several reasons. One, we've both been real busy for one, and two, it just wasn't really going in the direction that we wanted it to go, both kind of popularity-wise and content-wise. So we are relaunching our podcast. We're going to relaunch it with kind of a different focus, and we are going to start recording episodes for that actually as soon as I get off here, which is one of the reasons why this is not going to be very long too, because I need to get to that here soon. Anyway, what else you guys want to talk about? I have a few people watching. How's life going? That's the thing I don't like about my software is I can see how many people are watching, but I can't see who they are. I'm going to pull up Facebook here real quick and see who's on so I can talk to you directly. Now don't hop off because I said that. Sorry, it's taking a second. I know this is exciting show here right now. There we go. Well, this is not pulling up very well. All right. Well, I'm probably going to go ahead and just wrap up for today. Sorry this is so short, and sorry I didn't have a lot of content today, but I really wanted to talk about my 3D printer and just kind of show off what it can do, and hopefully I'll have more to show you later next week. Hey, Mike, what's up, buddy? Oh, that was the other thing I was going to bring up. Okay, take back I said I'm going to get off. I'm not going to do that yet. I wanted to talk about sports a little bit, and Mike popping on reminded me of that. There's two things that I said I didn't want to talk a lot about when I started this, and one was politics, and the other was the coronavirus situation. Hi, Brandy. But I'm gonna break that rule and talk about the coronavirus situation a little bit because I'm really bummed. As most of you know, I am a sports official. Actually, I have, if you can see, an ISSA shirt on today. I work football, basketball. I'm licensed in softball, but I haven't worked softball in a while because I'm coaching at Liberty Christian. So, but anyway, football is my favorite sport by far, and I've been optimistic pretty much all summer long that we were going to be okay once we got to football season. And this week has been the first week that has dawned on me that I'm probably too optimistic about that. There's lots of news going on. I don't know if, I'm sorry for those of you who don't like sports or don't pay attention to sports, but that's what we're going to talk about here for a little bit. First of all, we're still a month away from most competition. August 14th was supposed to be our scrimmage week this year for high school football. Now, strangely, they have decided that schools can't have fans at events until August 15th, which is a Saturday. So many schools have rescheduled their scrimmages from Friday to Saturday so they can have fans. So now really the first day of scrimmages is August 15th for the most part. And they have wait, that's it. That's all we've heard so far for high school, at least in Indiana. Then earlier this week I heard rumors that the Ivy League, of course, big one, oh my gosh, Division I conference, Harvard and all those, and they have decided to cancel all sports up until January. So that means no football, at least no first half of basketball. And I had heard before it was announced that that was probably going to happen, or at least they were discussing it. And that was my first uh-oh. Because if this is the way I've been describing it all week. It's like we have this big domino rally, where you set up all the dominoes and they're just standing there right now, but that first domino is starting to fall. And I'm afraid that once that first domino starts to fall, they're just going to cascade and everything's going to fall. Justin Bay says no Tyson Priest today. Nope, no Tyson today. He's really not like my main guest. He has been, but I try not to take too much of his time. But I'm talking about sports, Justin. You should be happy. Anyway, although it's bad things about sports, so maybe you won't be happy. So anyway, so that to me was the first domino to fall, was the Ivy League announcing they're canceling their sports until January. And then I heard around the same time, there's a Division III conference, I believe it's a North Coast Conference, that is canceling their football season. And then I know of another conference, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this yet or not, that has canceled their first week. But all that happened about the same time, about the same day, and then that kind of freaked out Jeff Gilstrap, my facial hair. I always have a beard during the off season, Jeff. As soon as basketball's over, like my very last basketball game, I'm done shaving for a while. I hate to shave. I don't know why. I trim it up every now and then, although if you can tell, looking at me now, I haven't for a while. But I always grow a beard in the off season, just because I'm lazy. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so we had the Ivy League and the North Coast, and then I saw today New Mexico has canceled all of their sports for the fall season for high school, and now that's starting to creep in. So we have stuff going on the East Coast, we have stuff going on in New Mexico, down in the Southwest, and I really think it's just a matter of time before all the dominoes start falling and you start seeing more and more things canceled. That's kind of the way it happened in the spring. I know, I've seen you officiate. That's funny, Jeff. Anyway, as I was saying, I went from like 90% sure that we were going to be fine to now I'm probably less than 25% sure. I think even if we start, we're not going to finish. Yes, Jeff, you're distracting my train of thought. I have ADHD. You should know how distracted I get on a football field. Anyway, so I'm pretty worried about it. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, that's the other one. Thank you, Harlow. Big Ten fall sports. They're only playing conference games. They've canceled all their non-conference games, which I find really fascinating. And if they play their conference games, all three people watching are popular. I know it goes up and down. Apparently I'm boring today because I had as much as like 12 at one point, and then it went down to like 2, and then it went back up to like 9. I don't know why it's bouncing up and down, but oh well. I do this for fun. Anyway, so as I was saying, I'm worried that we're going to start. Even if we do start, we're not going to be able to finish the season because something's going to happen. One school is going to have a coach and a few players get sick, and then everybody's going to panic and it's going to shut down. Is what I'm thinking. If we start, that'll happen. So I went from being very sure we were going to have football to now not so sure. Man, Jeff, you're harsh, dude. Why are you coming on here and harshing my mellow? What's up with you? Anyway, you must be super bored. You're watching. Anyway, I'm going to hop off here so I can get with Tyson to record those podcast episodes. And but I'll be back next week. Next week I'll have a guest again, and